Canyons looking to find some consistency after back-to-back losses to conference opponents. Trying to bounce back and pick up their second conference win of the season here against the 4-11 LA Valley Monarchs. LA Valley Monarchs. I'm Matt Robinson. Glad to have you along with us as always here on the Cougar Sports Network. The Cougars coming off their largest loss of the season at the hands of number 5 Citrus, 111-77. Consistency has been a struggle for College of the Canyons this season, something that I know Howard Fisher has been trying to preach to his squad as the year has gone on. They're still searching a bit for their identity this season. The Cougars held under 45% from the floor in their last 2 games, held under 60% from the foul line in their last 2 games. 3 straight games with 15 or more turnovers in the ball game, 40-plus rebounds in their last 3, under 40 in their previous 3. So we talk about just consistency being a touch of an issue for Howard Fisher's side. It's a young squad, only 1 sophomore on the team in Roz Orbach. It's just been kind of up and down, up and down, up and down. They were actually coming in to this week on 2 straight wins. They won back-to-back games against LA Pierce and Glendale, opening their conference season with a win, but then losses to Antelope Valley 84-80, and then that 111-77 loss to Citrus. The Antelope Valley game here at home, Canyons actually had a shot late in the ball game to try and tie it against Antelope Valley, trailing 82-80, but just could not hit a bucket with the closing moments and ended up giving up a couple foul shots to Antelope Valley in that ball game. On the other side for LA Valley, defense has struggled recently, giving up 100 or more points in their last 2 games and 80-plus in 4 straight games for the Monarchs. As we look at the numbers from both sides, Monarchs 66.3 points per game. Canyons a little bit better on that front. Both teams right around 40% from the field. Canyons a lot better from 3, almost 10% better from 3 this season. And they've been a better rebounding team. You look at LA Valley's rebounding issues at times this year. For the Monarchs, like we said, it's been a struggle defensively, one of the worst defensive teams in the state. They average 80 points per game allowed, just about. 72nd in the state. Trying to clean that up a little bit. Opponents shoot 42% from the floor, and they shoot 33% from 3. So they'll certainly want to look at that, clean those things up as we get to work here in this one. Take a look at the starting lineups for both sides. For the LA Valley Monarchs today, Rondell Moore, Mark Hamilton Jr., Andrew Angulo, Jaden Clinkscales, and Corey Blunt, the starting 5. For College of the Canyons, going back towards a little bit more of what's been a traditional look early in the season for them. They kind of changed up the starting lineup over the last month, but putting Justin Perez back in the starting lineup today to join Donovan Cornelius, Donovan Chapman, and Roz Orbach, who've all been kind of consistent in the lineup. Actually, Orbach was kind of coming off the bench over the last few. Galadzi Gell had actually had his spot, and Perez had actually given way to Stacey Webb, but instead the starting 5, really what kind of they started with early on in the season. Wyatt Wilson's had a heck of a run as of late. He's got 3 straight games with 10 or more points. Canyons will expect a bunch out of him today once again, as they get ready to go here against LA Valley. The Monarchs 4-11 on the season, have not won a conference game yet this year. Canyons 1-2 in the conference season and 5-12 overall on the year, trying to bounce back and get a win here on this 3-game week, a rare 3-game week for Canyons, as usually they're just 2 games during the conference season, but everybody making up some games after the Fires knocked out some games last week here in Southern California. It'll be Wyatt Wilson to jump for College of the Canyons against Jaden Clinkscale. Should be an interesting matchup. Wilson can jump out of the gym, listed at 6'3". We've seen him win tips against taller bodies. Clinkscales, I think, has some leaping ability as well, so we'll see who is able to dial it up and get their team the first possession of the ball game. Opening tip won by LA Valley, even though Wilson got his hand on it. Angulo came away with it, and the Monarchs will go to work. Rondell Moore will work with the basketball. Angulo will send it up high. The ball actually bounced off of the Monarchs' Mark Hamilton's face as he tried to catch it. Went through his hands. Canyons will go back to work. Perez for three, and the first triple of the ball game for Justin Perez, who shoots 42% from three, 41st best three-point shooter in the state in terms of percentage. His 28th triple of the year, and Canyons has a 3-0 lead. Angulo trying to match, no good. Defensive rebound pulled down by Wilson, and Canyons will go back to work on the offensive side with Donovan Cornelius to work. Cornelius will drop to Wilson, now to Chapman. Chapman's been solid as of late. Both he and Wilson have found ways for Canyons to get on the board, just hasn't translated into enough wins. Here's Orbach, little stop up, no. Rebound putback is there, and Canyons on a 5-0 run. Raz Orbach, 12 points on average in losses this year, just 5 points in wins. We'll see if that trend continues today. Orbach, a guy, when he moves the ball well, Canyons really plays much better. He averages 3.5 assists in their wins, just 1.5 in losses, so we'll see if that continues when they get it inside. There's a three from Mark Hamilton. Knocks it down. Hamilton, a 20% three-point shooter, just his 6th triple of the year. It's LA Valley on the board. Here's Orbach trying to muscle his way in. And that's what we talk about with Orbach. When he moves the ball from that inside position, Canyons can go to work. When he kind of catches and tries to bully his way in, the rest of the team kind of stops their movement and lets him go to work, and we've seen that not really translate into victories for Canyons. There's a good inbound play. Donovan Cornelius gets his first bucket of the game. Cornelius this season, 47% from the floor, 55 of 116. He's on a streak of 10 points in 3 of his last 4, only at 7 against Antelope Valley. There's a stop-up jumper, no good that time from Rondell Moore. Into the hands of Canyons, and they'll go to work. Chapman with the basketball will send it to Wilson. Rhythm 3 from the wing is good. Canyons 2 of 2 from 3 so far. They lead by 7 at 10-3 as Wyatt Wilson gets his first bucket of the ball game on his first field goal attempt. There's Angulo for Antelope Valley. Will send it far side. Hamilton driving. Orbach up to block. Wilson was there to help as well. Orbach over credit with the rejection, and a timeout on the floor carved by Virgil Watson. The LA Valley head coach wants to talk things over. A 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here. For Canyons, we talked about Orbach kind of being a key inside. Just 5 points in wins this year on average, but he has 12 points in losses. That assist number is really the key. And I think for Canyons, if they can work the ball into him and that he can use his passing ability to get the perimeter players open in Cornelius, Wilson, Perez, and Chapman, who all can shoot the three and shoot it pretty well at times, you'll see Canyons really the offense start to get going. You see the good defense that last time by Orbach. Just his 2nd block of the season, doesn't do a lot of that. Down low, really they rely on Wyatt Wilson, who's the team leader in blocks with 11. When he's on the floor to guard the rim. Good inbound play. Angulo will step into his 2nd look at 3 for the day. He knocks that one down. Andrew Angulo, 24.5% from 3 this year, just his 14th triple of the season, but it's back to a 4-point game. Here's Wilson, wants to put it on the floor. Chapman trying to slip it inside. Orbach wasn't ready for it, just a straight turnover. LA Valley trying to run the fast break, and they get it for Angulo, who's got his 2nd of the ball game. Angulo averages 8 points a game. He's got 5 to lead the way, and LA Valley back within 2. Cornelius for Canyons. They're trying to force it inside to Orbach again. Orbach that time trying to dish, but it was knocked away by Hamilton. It'll stay with Canyons here. We'll see our first substitution. Jordan Sumbry coming in for Valley. Canyons with 15 on the shot clock on the inbound play. They trying to run that little end around, and then they turn it over on the inbound as Perez couldn't handle. And then Wilson going to be called for a foul in the air. Rondell Moore going to go to the line. Sorry, our replay system didn't take, so we'll try and get that going once again. That is why our replay system actually started recording the wrong thing, so fix that up. Moore makes 1 of 2. Moore, 69% foul shooter on the season. Canyons now with a 1-point lead. They led by 7. They nearly turn it over again. Stepping into the passing lane was Rondell Moore. Moore with 10 points a game. Second on the team in points per game. Their leader is Corey Blunt. Blunt averages 13.2. Nine to work for Canyons on the shot clock. Cornelius into the corner. Perez looking for another 3. Misses. Chapman couldn't pull down the rebound. Outlet quickly ahead as LA Valley trying to run the fast break. Angulo couldn't get the layup to go as Perez coming back was able to maybe get partially hand on it to knock it away. Indians gets lucky on the outlet. And then Donovan Chapman stepped on the sideline and it's a turnover. Galad Zigel will come into the game for the first time today. This takes over for Donovan Chapman here as Canyons into their rotation. 10-9 in favor of Canyons. Just a shade over 4 minutes gone here in this first half. Canyons led 10-7. LA Valley is charged back, and with a bucket down low by Clink Scales, they'll take their first lead of the ball game at 11-10. Canyons turns it over once again. And that has been a problem for Canyons this year. The turnovers have been an issue over their last 3 games. 15, 18, and 18 turnovers. The only reason they weren't in the negative is Glendale did the same thing in their game, but they've been -7 turnovers the last 2 games. Already 4 here in the ball game for Canyons. LA Valley working offensively. Sumbry will send it far side. Lopez skips it in. Clink Scales looking onto the near side, gets it to Hamilton. Wanted to drive against Orbach, now bumps into Orbach. His pass got knocked away by Perez. Tied up on the floor. Jump ball tie-up, possession arrow, Canyons. Howard Fisher was asking for a foul or a timeout, didn't get either. Not liking the answer from the official on the baseline on the Canyons side of the floor. Go back into play. Orbach with the basketball, drops Zigel. Trying to drive, and he's going to be called for a travel. Too many steps on the drive. Ran into a wall from Clink Scales. And another empty possession on Canyons. Their 5th turnover already in the first 5 minutes of the ball game. Something they certainly need to clean up. Remember, a young squad for Canyons this year. Only sophomore is Roz Orbach. The rest of the group all freshmen, and you can see some of the growing pains. Zigel got a hand on the pass, but Clink Scales was able to clean it up. It's a 3-point LA Valley lead here. Webb will catch and control, sends Perez far wing. Draws contact from Angulo. First foul on Angulo. For LA Valley, a relatively young team as well this year. 16 players on the roster, just 3 sophomores. Orbach, 19-footer is good. It's a 1-point ball game. Orbach's 2nd bucket of the day. 4 different scores for Canyons so far. Same for LA Valley. Angulo with 5 leading the way. Orbach with 4 leading for Canyons. Here's Blunt, who has not found the scoreboard yet. Sends it onto the near side, Rondell Moore. Moore thought about a 3, instead gets it to Lopez. Lopez will drive with 10 to shoot, had the ball knocked away, picked it back up on the floor, and we'll have a tie-up possession arrow LA Valley with 6 to shoot. threes for LA Valley as they come in. Moore will catch. He'll put up a three off a stutter step to Leak Perez, but missed it off the front side of the rim. Canyon's back the other way. Zigel thought about a three. Now he'll step into a foul line jumper off his own dribble, no good. And back the other way comes LA Valley off the defensive rip. Moore just trying to run right ahead. Perez knocked it away from him. Perez then couldn't hold it. Ball then went off of Canyons out of play as Perez tried to keep it in. And we'll see substitutions here for LA Valley. Clinkscale's off the floor. Sycon Jennings coming in for the first time today. Wyatt Wilson in for Perez, who will go to the bench. And Abdelnour trying to get to the table here, and he will, to take over for Orbach as they'll put Abdelnour and Jennings against one another. So both teams deep into their rotations here. LA Valley will catch on the inbound for Moore. Moore working to his right now, delays. Got it over to Lopez, and then an offensive foul on a moving screen going against Jennings. And so empty possession for LA Valley, and Canyons will go to work, trailing by one. 13-14 to go here in the first half. 13-12 Low Event first half so far. Just about halfway gone. Here's Webb. Wilson, corner three with a hand in his face, was short. Cornelius the rebound. Webb catches and gets it to Zigel. Now back to Abdelnour. Block extended jumper is good. Abdelnour from 15 feet. His first bucket of the day. Abdelnour, not a guy that scores a lot, just 2.4 points per game on average. Only averages 3.4 points in Canyons wins this year. Good to see him get a start. Blunt, and a blocking foul called against Webb. See Blunt here off the dribble screen, and Webb never really had his feet fully set, was kind of already leaning back, and that's what draws the foul. Blunt to the line. Corey Blunt this year, 45 of 67, a 67% foul shooter. Knocks down the first. Second is no good, so we're even at 14 all. Zigel trying to work off the dribble. Moore keeping him tight, but Zigel able to get a little hook shot there. We've seen Zigel use that a few times this year, and that time worked well. Chapman and Figueroa into the game to replace Zigel and Cornelius. Here's Jennings, 16-14 Canyons in the lead. We'll drop it for Sumbry. He'll put up a three that doesn't touch anything. It'll be Canyons basketball. Abdelnour trying to work it back to Wilson. Wilson lucky he got his hands back on it and kept it in play. It'll be Canyons basketball once again. Here's Webb. Chapman, who's been quiet today, no points yet. Will send to Figueroa. Now to Abdelnour. 12-footer that time, had too much on it. Good inside position from Blunt. Back the other way, he'll bring it. Leaves it into the hands of Sumbry, who drives and lays it in, and we're even at 16 all. Wilson quickly back into the transition offense, no good. Easy rebound that time for Sumbry, who sprints it ahead. Got it to Jennings. Jennings will leave for Blunt. Canyons miscommunicates on the handoff. And a 30-second timeout called by Howard Fisher with 11:06 to go. 18-16 in favor of LA Valley. Canyons led 10-7 to start, but LA Valley working well offensively the last few sets. Able to get Canyons a little bit out of sorts. So 2-point LA Valley lead here. (18-16) Blunt. Dumped it down low, got it back, then threw up a wild shot, was trying to draw contact. Ball was nowhere near the rim. So it'll turn over to Canyons. 18-16, Canyons trailing. 10.5 to go here in the first half. Cornelius will dump it. Wilson now to Chapman. Straight away, foul away from the basketball, under the basket, called against Drew Lopez. Just the third foul on LA Valley and the fifth foul overall, which is interesting considering Canyons games this year have been some of the most penalized games in the state on both sides. Canyons averages 19.2 fouls taken per game, but they draw 21.6, which is the most in the state. Didn't draw one there, but they get a bucket and we're even at 18 all. As Donovan Cornelius on the board now with 4. Chapman picks up an assist. His third assist already in the ball game. Lopez, LA Valley working off the near side. Now Hamilton stops in the painted area, throws it up high off the glass, had to go way up over Chapman, who got up to block it. Canyons back to work after Chapman pulls down the defensive rebound. Cornelius to Figueroa. Figueroa hasn't shot the ball well over his last 8 games, just 1 of 13. He'll put up one here, make it 1 of 14. LA Valley quickly trying to go back the other way. Hamilton from the block, throws it into the corner. Angulo fakes, drives, an offensive foul going to be called on Angulo. Angulo gets Figueroa in the air, but good extra help sliding over from Canyons that time to draw it. Second foul on Angulo. And Canyons will go back to work in an 18-all game. Perez out there with Cornelius, Orbach, Wilson, and Chapman. Chapman driving, and he'll draw contact. Trio of bodies there. It'll be interesting to see who picks it up for LA Valley. They give it to Mark Hamilton. It's the 5th foul on Valley here. You can see Chapman sees an open lane trying to drive, and Chapman, who has been good at the line this year, 59 for 82, 72%, and this is part of that consistency for Canyons. You see misses the first. The broadcaster Jinx does its job. Canyons, again, over the last few games, they've shot under 60% from the line. This is a team that is one of the best at getting to the line. We talk about 21.9 fouls per game. Chapman makes 1 of 2. For Canyons this season, they average 24 free throws per game, almost 25, and they make almost 17 a game. That's 12th in both those categories in the state. But they shoot just 68%, which is middle of the pack, 42nd. A lot of their games, especially their tight games this year, have come down to that. If they can hit free throws better and be more consistent in it, you might see more than 5 wins. Again, a young team still growing, still finding consistency. A travel going to be called against Rondell Moore. More an important piece for LA Valley as we'll talk about the game continues on. Canyons back to work with a 1-point lead, 19-18. Donovan Cornelius with the basketball will send it to Roz Orbach. Dumps it down low to Wyatt Wilson. Wilson, a little turnaround 5-footer that doesn't rattle in. Rebound to Corey Blunt. For Blunt, who only has 3 points, now has his 2nd rebound. He brings it up the floor, tries to drive, or Chapman with a block, and back the other way Cornelius comes. Sends it to Wilson, stops it up. Wilson underneath. And then Chapman blocked on the other side by Jordan Sumbry, and then he's going to pick up a foul as he got kind of pushed into Hamilton. LA Valley basketball going back to work in a 19-18 ball game. .805 to go here in the first half. Sunbury dumped it off. Hamilton wasn't ready for it, but was able to catch, and now he'll draw a foul. Going to go against Wilson this time. Wilson just a little late on the recovery and got a hand in on the attempt that time. Mo Pitt's going to check in for the first, or getting ready to check in for the first time today. 2 shots coming here. For Hamilton, makes the first. First trip to the line today for Mark Hamilton, who's a 56% foul shooter, 17 of 30. Mo Pitt's in for Wyatt Wilson, who's off the floor with 2 fouls. Pitts did not play in the first 2 conference games of the season. They just played now in the last 2, getting some minutes here. In a 19-all ball game, 7:50 to go here in the first half. Cornelius to Chapman into the wing on the near side to Perez. Now back up to Cornelius. Wing to Perez as they play catch. Canyons along the perimeter so far. And it's really just been Perez and Cornelius. Good job by Perez to drive. Orbach slips off the defender who came over to help, and he gets an easy bucket. Orbach now with 6 to lead the way for Canyons. LA Valley back quickly on offense. Clink Scales with the basketball. Dumps it out high. Moore thought about a 3. Now thought about it again. Instead will try and drive. Steps into an 18-footer and knocks it down. Cornelius was right on top of Moore, but Moore, just too slick, was able to knock this one clean. Pitts now catches on the far wing, skips it to Orbach. Orbach looking, dishes. Cornelius, 3 from the wing in rhythm. Rattles in. Donovan Cornelius, his first 3. Give him 7 points to lead the way. He's perfect from the field so far. 3 for 3, and Canyons with a 24-21 lead. LA Valley back to work offensively. Blunt spinning, looking for some help. Canyons had Orbach get knocked down. A 3 from Moore, no good. Canyons catches a bit of a break. They'll go back to work offensively. Cornelius to Chapman. Send it to Mo Pitts near wing. Valley running a zone defense here. Chapman thought about a jumper from 15, now gets it to Cornelius. Little heat check for him, no good. Pitts the rebound, top of the key, jumper doesn't fall. Offensive board from Orbach, gets it to Cornelius. Cornelius trying to drive, ran into Hamilton, and now we'll back it off. Plenty of time for Canyons to work. Chapman, floater in the lane, no good. Hamilton that time pulls down the rebound, so maybe shot selection a little bit of an issue for Canyons. A timeout by LA Valley. Virgil Watson and company want to talk things over. 24-21, 5:43 to go. A break on the floor. We'll take it as well. (24-21), 5:43 to go. First half action here. LA Valley calling to the Canyons. Canyons looking for their 2nd conference win of the year. LA Valley still looking for their 1st. Still very early in the conference season. Hamilton again. It's the 3rd time today we've seen Hamilton struggle just to catch, and then stepping on the end line was Blunt on a pass across the floor. So a turnover on LA Valley. Going to be their 4th. 5 on Canyons. They've cleaned that up after 5 in the first 5 minutes. 24-21, 5.5 to go here in the first half. Donovan Cornelius up the floor for Canyons. Will send to Perez. Onto the near side to Ziegel. Back up top, Perez now. Cornelius near wing. Ziegel Doesn't shoot a lot of threes. Thought about it for a moment. Instead, Canyons will stay on the perimeter. Nothing working inside. Perez now gets it to Ziegel. Tries to get something going, and he's going to get called for an offensive foul. Look here for Ziegel. I don't know how Perez didn't get up off the floor. And then Ziegel just too much into the body. LA Valley will go back to work with the basketball offensively here. Sumbry driving, Perez trying to stay right with him. Didn't get it to fall. Clinkscales the rebound. Had his shot maybe partially blocked by Orbach. LA Valley trying to trap Donovan Cornelius here, who has to throw it out of trouble. Canyons will get it up across the half-court line. Cornelius far side. Wanted to work onto the wing, now we'll work it back between the rings. Sends it to Perez at the elbow, misses on the shot, but the putback there for Ziegel. Second bucket of the day for Elad Ziegel. Canyons now back with a 5-point lead, 25-21. Moore spinning in the lane, left-handed hook, no good. Cornelius back the other way on the defensive rip. Pits into the corner to Perez. Back up top, Cornelius. He and Perez play catch. Canyons trying to look inside to Orbach, who couldn't get loose. Now Cornelius will send far side Pitts. Canyons all along the perimeter. Now they work at Perez. Got pushed in the back, then got blocked. Ball found its way to Orbach, though, and he puts it in. LA Valley, I think, lucky they didn't get called for a foul. Unlucky that the ball just kind of bounced off the rim right into the hands of Roz Orbach. Might have hit him in the face on the way through. He was able to collect. Now Orbach with 8 points. It's a 7-point lead again for Canyons. Blunt trying to spin. Was stopped in his tracks. Sumbry now around the perimeter to Hamilton. They work it to Moore. Up top, Sumbry, a 3 over the top of Orbach, short. Ziegel couldn't pull down the rebound, but Cornelius there to help him out. Canyons back the other way. 3 minutes and 5 seconds to go here in the first half. Ziegel, good pass underneath, reverse layup for Orbach is good. He's got double figures. Roz Orbach, 9th game of the season with 10 or more points. All 10 of them coming so far in the first half. Give him 3 boards and an assist as well. Nice dish that time from Ziegel. Ball goes out off of Cornelius, and we'll see substitutions. 3 fresh bodies coming in for LA Valley. Stacey Webb coming in to take over for Mo Pitts for Canyons. As Angulo, Lopez, and Jennings, back on the floor. Lopez will get it to Angulo. Trying to drive. Cornelius locked him down. Now Jennings dribbling on the floor here against Orbach, who stays right with him. Jennings has to spin back. He'll dish it off into the edge on the near side. Angulo's 3 no good. Ziegel the defensive rebound. Outlets Cornelius ahead. Perez thought about driving, but didn't have enough room as the ball got to him a touch too late. Canyons will work in a half-court offense. Kickball going to be called against Angulo. Going to put a reset on it for Canyons at 20 seconds. Clinkscales checking back in to take over for Sumbry, who's limping off. Ankle bothering him, goes right to the edge of the bench. Now bring the medical staff down to check on him. 30-21, Canyons with their large lead of the day at 9. They'll inbound to Orbach, who catches outside the 3-point line. Drops it for Cornelius straight away. Leaves it for Ziegel. Over to Perez. Into a 3. It's good. Perez, his second 3 of the ball game. He's got 6 now. His 2 of 3 from downtown. And Canyons now with a 12-point lead. 33-21, their largest lead of the day. Here's Lopez working against Webb. Dumps it off Angulo. Got a man in the air, but had to dish it. Hamilton now. Drops to Jennings. Jennings over the top of Perez. No good. Rolled it out. Ziegel the rebound. Outlets Cornelius. Canyon's trying to run here. Cornelius, a 16-footer, no good. Orbach couldn't control the rebound, but he tipped it right off the body of Jennings. And it'll stay with Canyons here on a reset. 33-21, 1:27 to go in the first half. Canyons with the basketball and the lead. So only Orbach in double figures so far for either side. Is 5 of 7 from the field. All of his work coming from down low. Here's Cornelius, a 3 rattles in. Touched everything on the rim and the backboard, falls home. Cornelius now in double figures. He's 2 of 3 from downtown. And Canyons with a 36-21 advantage here with 1:07 to go in the first half. Angulo thought about it. Now we'll dump it off. Lopez trying to drive. Got it to Clinkscales. Working from the block against Ziegel. Up over the top, no good. Webb, a defensive rebound. Dribbles his way out of some trouble with 47 seconds to go. Nearly turned it over. Got it back, gets it to Ziegel. He'll put up a 3, no good. Rebound on good inside position that time from Clinkscales, so he was able to box out Perez. LA Valley trying to find a bucket here before the close of the half. Lopez drives, kicks. Angulo, a 3 on the way, no good. Rebound, Cornelius. Shot clock is off. Canyons can play for the last shot here. Cornelius, 10 points, 5 boards now. Get it to Webb, will run the point. 12 seconds to go here in the first half. Webb working off the Orbach screen. Drives, tries to draw contact. Not a great shot selection to end the half. LA Valley will heave one up, and that'll do it. 36-21 the lead for Canyons here at the first half timeout. Second half when we come back here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Welcome to College of the Canyons, where students become the success stories of tomorrow. Whether you're already in the workforce or just getting started, our flexible schedules are a game changer. And students don't just earn degrees. They catapult into desirable careers and top 4-year universities for just $46 per unit. Quality education without crushing debt. Ditch the cookie-cutter mold of college and make college work for you. Register now at canyons.edu/schedule.
The Jersey Mike's catering box is the easiest way to feed your friends. The hard part is picking your sub. That's why we're having a draft. With the first pick, Sarah from Carolina selects number 13, the original Italian.
You know, I trusted my gut, and that's exactly where the sub's gonna go, so.
Hold on, we've got a trade. Jake traded his second pick with me, because I'm starved.
Freshly sliced subs to go, wherever you and your friends go. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Whether we're on the move or stuck in one place, it's with us, comforting, healing, and transforming lives. It's the power of you. With 4 world-class hospitals and over 170 clinics across Southern California, together, we're building a healthier community. We're your neighbors, your friends, your family. It begins with you. UCLA Health.
Can I get it Mike's way? What's happening?
And your free sub. Enjoy.
Hey. That was super weird.
Oh, that? Nah. She just used the shore points you can now earn from chip and drink purchases to get free sub through the app.
Download the Jersey Mike's app and earn rewards towards free subs with every sub, Pepsi, and Lay's you purchase.
Make hosting your next event easy with the Dr. Diane G. Van Hook University Center. With over 30 meeting spaces, wireless video teleconferencing capabilities, food service, and technical support available, the University Center has everything you need to make your next event shine. Conveniently located near the 5 and 14 freeways in Santa Clarita, the University Center offers easy access to local airports and many attractions, making it the ideal meeting place for everyone. To learn more about our rental options or to book now, visit canyons.edu/University Center.
Welcome back. Lee Smelser court inside the Cougar cage. 36-21 halftime the lead for Canyons as they will start with the basketball at the halftime break. Canyons in the first half, 15 of 34, 5 of 11 from 3, just 1 of 2 from the line. LA Valley 8 of 26, 2 of 8 from 3, and 3 of 6 from the line. Canyons just 5 turnovers in the first half, 4 for LA Valley in that first half. Cougars out-rebounding the Monarchs 27 to 13, a 14 rebound discrepancy, and that's kind of what's dictated the 36-21 lead as Canyons will go back to work offensively. Cornelius, Wilson, Perez, Chapman, and Orbach for Canyons. For LA Valley, it's the same starting 5 that they started the game with as well. Moore, Hamilton, and Gulo, Klingscales, and Blunt. As Orbach gonna get himself to the line here. Count the bucket, and he'll try for an old-fashioned three-point play. Orbach with 12 points, 4 boards, 2 assists. Misses the foul shot. Orbach, not uncommon for him, 38 of 52, 73% from the line this year. LA Valley back to work, 38-21. It's a 17-point Canyons advantage right now, just underway in the second half. So we welcome you in here from Lee Smelser Court. Thank you for joining us as always. A bank shot 3, good from Angulo. Angulo 2 of 4 from downtown now. He's got 8 points. The lead cut back down to 14. There's Wyatt Wilson with the basketball for LA Valley. Got it to Donovan Cornelius, who will back things off. Now gets it to Chapman. Chapman dumps Cornelius. Cornelius with 6 to shoot. Steps into an elbow jumper that didn't rattle home. Rebound pulled down by Rondell Moore. He's just kind of sprint past everybody and draws contact to get himself to the line. It's kind of an awkward play that time with Moore driving. Foul goes against Chapman. Moore misses the first of 2. Second, on the other hand, finds the bucket. The lead, which was 17, is down to 13. Gulo will pick up his 3rd foul. Elad Ziegel finds a bucket for 2. (40-25), the lead is 15. Ziegel now with 6 points. Klingscales picks up a foul. So it'll stay 40-25. Canyons leading right now. Shot no good from Canyons. LA Valley back to work. Blunt got to the rack and laid it in. Canyons, Wyatt Wilson knocks down a three. So 43-27 the score. Wilson now with the basketball. 16-footer, no good. Little short, good contest that time from Blunt. Sumbry trying to sprint it ahead. Kicks off of Canyons and out of play. We'll get substitution here for LA Valley. Sycon Jennings checking in to replace Mark Hamilton. Orbach and Cornelius, the only two players in double figures. Sumbry fell over trying to get onto the near side for the inbound, was able to catch regardless. LA Valley back to work. Blunt, who's been quiet so far today, stops into an elbow jumper that's no good. Wilson pulls down the rebound. Blunt just 5 points today. Ziegel driving, gets to the basket, lays it in over the top of Jennings. Vlad Ziegel now with 8. Canyons has pressed it back to an 18-point lead. Here's Jennings catching. Drops for Blunt. Wilson trying to stay right with him. Now Moore had it poked away by Cornelius, but was able to regather. Now drives against Cornelius, tried to kick it to the corner. Clinkscales will have to put up a 22-footer that's good. That's a nice shot from Clinkscales, who shoots 56% from the floor, is 38 in the country in field goal percentage. Knocks it down. Cornelius back to work for Canyons with Donovan Cornelius. He averages 15 points in wins. He's at 10 right now. 10 points in 4 of his last 5. You like the work. There's an Orbach three. Orbach, who doesn't knock down a lot of threes, just his fifth three of the season, 5 of 19. A little over 22% on the year. Canyons now with a 19-point advantage. As Jennings back to work with the basketball. Drops for Sumbry, finds a lane, had it stripped out of his hands. Canyons will regather. Cornelius ahead, Ziegel 2 steps off the window, no. Perez the rebound, blocked by Clinkscales. And Canyons, we've seen that a lot this year too. Open looks on layups that just don't fall. But you like the effort regardless from Canyons, and we'll see Cornelius check out as Webb back in. Rondell Moore checking off the floor for LA Valley as they bring Lopez back in. There's Orbach. Wilson far side, works it back up top to Webb, now to Ziegel. Skips it into Orbach, working against Jennings at the block. Dishes it out, extra pass, tipped away. Good job by Sumbry to see that, get a hand in, tries for the reverse layup and got it over the top of the Wilson block and in. Sumbry now with 4 points. LA Valley trying to close down the gap. They get a takeaway, a turnover by Webb. Blunt back the other way. Perez trying to stay right with him, and Perez going to be called for the foul. Going to be the first foul on Perez. See, Webb turns it over here. Blunt will go to the line. Blunt 1 of 2 from the line today. Pitts and Chapman at the table getting ready. And it'll just be Mo Pitts instead. Abdelnour will check in instead. Orbach off, Perez off. Lead down to 15. Timeout for LA Valley after the made free throw by Blunt. And it's a 48-33 advantage with 14:02 to go. Talk about some of the numbers for both sides when we come back after the break. 14:02 to go. Canyons leading LA Valley 48-33. Canyons shooting 45% from the floor and 50% from three today. Just above their season average from the floor, shooting 45%. Their season average is 43.3. LA Valley just 12 of 33. They've struggled from the floor today. Canyons defense has held them just 3 of 10 from three. As LA Valley, not a great three-point shooting team at just 25%. 7 turnovers on Canyons, just 4 on LA Valley as we go back to work. Wilson, elbow, jumper. Oh, that rattled in and out. Rebound pulled down by Clinkscales off the tip. Ahead, Moore, driving, dumps, foul in the air. It's not going to be a shooting foul, they say, because Moore dished it. Foul goes against Wilson, his third. Moore is an important guy for LA Valley. We talked about that. In their wins this year, averages 12 points compared to just 9.5 in their losses. In their wins, he shoots 42% from the floor. As Sunbury going to get to the line, Abdelnour going to be called for a foul. But Moore today, you look, this is more in line with LA Valley losses. 1 of 6 from the floor today. He shoots 28% in their losses. He has not made a 3 yet, 0 for 3 from three-point, whereas when he's effective, he shoots about 33% from 3. Sunbury back here. Sunbury to the line for the first time today. 75% foul shooter makes the first. Second is good. And the lead, which was 19, is back down to 13. 48-35. Canyons trying to just keep LA Valley at arm's reach right now. Control this double-digit lead. Here's Abdelnour. Sends it to Pitts. Over to Webb. Back to Abdelnour. I don't think was ready for the pass. Gets it to Pitts. Pitts trying to go baseline. Into the corner, Webb. Extra pass, Wilson. Wilson wanting to drive. Just throws it away, trying to dump it off underneath to a cutting Ziegel. And then Moore back the other way. Contact and the foul for Moore. And LA Valley starting to run here, trying to get themselves back in the ball game, trailing just by 11. Moore drawing the foul with Pitts coming back. Pitts, Wilson, and Abdelnour off the floor. Perez, Chapman, and Orbach back. Perez, Chapman, and Orbach back in. Moore misses on the foul shot. So it stays an 11-point lead, 48-37. Webb trying to run the point here for Canyons. Chapman, who's had a rough day today. 1 for 2. Just 1 point, came on a free throw in the first half. Orbach, who's had a nice day for Canyons. A turnaround jumper is good. Orbach now with 17 points. 3 off his season high. Give him 5 rebounds, 2 assists as well. Clinkscales thought about a 3, now tries to drive against Ziegel. Throws one over the top of the rim to Lopez. Finds Jennings, who wanted a shot, now steps into a little 8-footer that doesn't fall. Ziegel pulls down the rebound, his 6th of the ball game. Canyons will outlet quickly ahead to Perez. They try and work it inside to Orbach, but they forced it down low as Jennings got a hand on it. And back the other way, Lopez. Over to Moore. Fakes and now takes a 3, but it was an air ball. Got knocked down by Perez in the process. LA Valley wanted a foul, didn't get it. Perez will get it to Chapman. Now Ziegel works it to Orbach. Orbach, little shoulder fake. Dumps underneath. Chapman trying to get out from underneath the basket. Missed. Goes out off of Jennings, and it's Canyons basketball. Hamilton checking back in. Takes over for Sycon Jennings here. Three to shoot for Canyons. Orbach Left-handed runner off the window doesn't go. It'll be LA Valley basketball as it tipped out off of Perez. We can take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard when we get a moment. Canyons in a press trap this time. Doesn't work out as Sunbury now catches on the far side. Here's Lopez now. Works to his right. Back to his left with the left hand. Spins back, turns around with a right-handed jumper that falls for Lopez. His second bucket of the ball game. Stretch that, that's just his first of the ball game. Makes it 50-39. Perez a three, no good. Actually, it's 50-37. A couple of misses from Canyons. Outlet the other way. Clinkscales fouled, and he'll go to the line. Tripped up by Webb. And it is 50-39. I was going to say, score is now correct. Just kind of looking at the table. Clinkscales makes the first of two. Out-of-town scoreboard, Butte beat Shasta 77-67. Redwoods over Syracuse 89-75. In the WSC-South, Glendale over Bakersfield 65-54. Citrus over Santa Monica 108-96. Outside the WSC, Cerro Coso on the road over Mount San Jacinto 76-67. Chaffee a 109-79 win over Copper Mountain. Oxnard a 64-60 win over Cuesta. San Bernardino Valley comes up with a road win against Barstow 96-82. Moore Park and Allen Hancock in a tight game 88-87. Moore Park was able to come away with the win. Desert a 91-85 winner over Palo Verde. Then in the rest of the conference, or the rest of the schedule, Sequoia's leading Fresno City 46-35. Antelope Valley trailing West LA 43-31 at home. Santa Barbara leading LA Pierce 39-33, and those are the last scores reporting. It's a 9-point game all of a sudden. Canyons led by 19. Then LA Valley outscoring the Cougars 20-14 here in the second half. Ziegel a three, no good. Moore a rebound. Monarchs work it ahead. Hamilton into the corner. Angulo back up top. Sunbury with 6 points, 2 of 6 from the floor. Will work it over to Rondell Moore. Moore drops it for Angulo, who works to his left. Now to Hamilton, splits a pair of defenders, put it off the window and good. It's back to a 7-point game. Canyons has lost the plot here for the moment. Still with a 7-point lead. Or Chapman now. Top of the key, no. Orbach fouled underneath the basket by Clinkscales. Third foul on Jaden Clinkscales. Fifth foul on LA Valley here in the half. Canyons with the next foul on them will send LA Valley to the line for 1-1. Canyons looking to reset off the foul. Orbach tries to force it inside. It came to Chapman, who finds Perez underneath. And Perez with an easy bucket. Now 3 of 7 from the floor with 8 points in the ball game. Canyon gets a takeaway. Chapman dumps. Cornelius draws contact, and he'll go to the line. Actually, they say it's on the floor. And no, they will give Cornelius 2 shots here. The official signaled on the floor, but no. So Donovan Cornelius to the line. First trip for him today. 70%, 77% foul shooter, right at 50th in the state in terms of free throw percentage. 62 of 80 now on the season. Blunt checking in to take over for Angulo, who has to go to the bench with 4 fouls. Each team with 6 fouls here in the second half, so the next on either side will put us at 1-1. Cornelius makes both, give him 12 points in the ball game. Shooting 50% from the floor so far today is Cornelius. 4 of 8, 2 of 4 from 3. Talked about important guys in the offense for each side. Cornelius certainly factors in as one. Canyons will get a rebound and a breakaway. Wilson, a two-handed flush. And for Wyatt Wilson, he's got 8 now. And the lead back up to 56-43, a 13-point advantage on a 4-0 Canyons, or 6-0 Canyons run, excuse me. Here's Hamilton. He tried to dunk and hit the front of the rim. Back the other way, Canyons. Chapman, a jumper from the foul line is good from 15 feet. Believe it or not, for Donovan Chapman, just his first bucket of the ball game from the floor. It's an 8-0 Canyons run to make it 58-43. The lead was down to 7. Now it's back up to 15. Hamilton, after that missed dunk, gets himself to the basket on 2 strides. And a timeout called by Virgil Watson. A full timeout will break with it as well. 58-45, Canyons leading. .45, Canyons leading and with the basketball. Cougars finding more of their rhythm here in this second half, or this later portion of the second half. LA Valley got it all the way back to a 7-point game. Canyons has turned it up over the last few minutes. Wilson blocked. Hamilton came up and got him. Back the other way, Sumbry just driving. Euro step draws contact from Chapman. Third foul on Chapman will send Sumbry to the line for the second time today. Sumbry misses the first of 2. Second rattles home. Back to a 12-point game. Cornelius and Moore battling. Cornelius throws it away. Blunt had it knocked out from behind by Cornelius as he tried to go up for a dunk. Thought he was fouled. But it'll stay with LA Valley nonetheless. Hustle back from Cornelius after he turned the ball over. Here's Blunt working against Chapman. Contact and the foul. And Blunt can get himself back to double figures and get the game within 9 after he draws the contact. Fourth foul, on Chapman. Ziegel will go to the bench, or go to the floor, as Chapman will go to the bench. Blunt completes the three-point play. He's got 10 points on 3 of 7 shooting and 4 of 5 from the line. So the lead was 15 again. Now it's right back down to 9. Canyon's able to work it up the floor. I think Howard Fisher wanted a foul on Moore. He and Cornelius were tied up. Here's Ziegel. Canyon's along the perimeter again. Cornelius gonna run the point, works off the screen, had it taken away from him for a moment. Orbach doesn't get the shot off in time. It's a shot clock violation. Good defense from LA Valley, and they have a chance to cut it back to at least a 7-point game. 6:33 to go. Sunbury will catch after Moore dropped it to him. Now Moore again, dumps off underneath. Hamilton gets an easy finish. Hamilton in double figures with 10 points. 2 players from each side in double digits. 7 different scores for LA Valley. Same for Canyon. Ziegel wanting to drive at the elbow, puts up a shot. Orbach the offensive board. Orbach muscles his way to the rack. He's got 19. One off his season high, which was 20 against Santa Barbara. Stretches the lead back up to 9. Canyons leaves Blunt wide open, but he misses a 3. Not going to get much more of a wide open look than that for Corey Blunt, who's only made 7 triples this season, does most of his work from inside the painted area. Perez had it knocked out of his hands as he tried to go to the basket, dribbled it back out of trouble. Ziegel now trying to drive, spins off the window, missed. It goes out off of Ziegel. It'll be LA Valley basketball in a 9-point game with 5:19 to go. Angulo and Lopez checking back in, so Angulo on the floor with 4 fouls. Moore going to come out along with Blunt. LA Valley getting some changes, getting those guys a rest for the final stretch run. Lopez to his left at the elbow, kicks back. Angulo for 3. Too strong on a late closeout from Canyons. Jennings pokes it out of play off the hands of Perez. It'll be Canyons basketball as LA Valley will stay in a press here. Wilson gets bumped into from behind, but we play on. Cornelius will go to work with the basketball. Lopez trying to guard him tightly. Here's Perez. Dumps back Cornelius, who was grabbed by Lopez sprinting through the lane. And that's going to send Canyons to the line for 1-1. And Cornelius, one of the better foul shooters for Canyons this season. I believe the leader in free throw percentage for Canyons this year. And I am correct in that. We'll go to the line. Cornelius, 12 points, 2 of 2 from the line, shooting 1 of 1, knocks down the first. Orbach, 9 of 13 from the floor, leading everybody with 19 points. It's perfect from 3. It is only 3 of the day. Cornelius now with 14 as he makes both foul shots. Late to the table was Clink Scales, so play will continue on. In a 62-51 game, Canyons leading. Both teams shooting foul shots the rest of the way as we're in 1-1. Jennings puts it on the floor, working against Orbach. Will kick it over to Sunbury for 3, too strong. Trying to get his own rebound. It falls into his hands after it bounced off a few bodies, but then he turned it over as Wyatt Wilson able to take it away. And Wilson trying to dribble his way out of trouble. Will send it to Orbach. Will get it across the timeline as Ziegel tries to drive baseline against Angulo. Draws the blocking foul. That's the 5th on Angulo. His night is over with 8 points no rebounds, and 5 fouls. LA Valley a body short here. Ziegel 1-1. Makes the first. That was a little miscommunication from LA Valley there. Moore will check back in. Ziegel makes the first of 2. It's a 12-point game. Second is good for Elad Ziegel. And for Ziegel, for the last 5 in double figures for him. Snapped a 4-game, 10-point streak against Citrus, but he gets there again today. Lead back to 13. Hamilton a 3, no good. Perez pulls down the rebound off the air ball. Cornelius into the front court working. Sends it to Wilson, who's been relatively quiet today, 8 points. Here's Orbach for 3, no good. Hamilton pulls down the rebound. Hamilton just running it ahead. Dumps it, Sumbry thought about a 3, instead will drive. Good body control to get around Wilson that time and lay it in. Sumbry now with 9 points. Lead back down to 11. 3:21 to go here. Cornelius will send it Ziegel far side. Ziegel on the far wing will drop it back to Orbach inside. Holding foul called against Lopez will send the wrong man to the line as Cornelius 4 for 4 from the line today. Canyons has done a much better job from the charity stripe. Perez going to come off as Webb going to come in to take over for him. Canyons 7 of 9 from the line. They haven't got there a lot. LA Valley 12 of 18, but you're still leading by 11. Make it 12 as Cornelius makes the first of 2. Give him 15 points. Second is good, so he stays perfect. From the line, 6 for 6 today. 66-53, 3:10 to go. Still a game that's in reach for LA Valley. We've seen them go on runs. Canyons needs to continue to match on the offensive side. They don't get a stop that time as Moore knocks down a little 12-footer. Canyons needs to just get it in play, and they do. Lopez fell down, so that's going to allow Canyons to break the timeline. Ziegel will put up a 3 that doesn't rattle home. Ball collected by LA Valley. And they'll go back the other way. Rondell Moore will bring it up onto the far wing. Works towards the painted area. Wilson, and he's called for a foul. That might frustrate Canyons fans and Howard Fisher, as it looked pretty clean from way up here, but the official says no. So Moore going to go to the line. 2 of 5 from the line today. Make it 2 of 6. Ziegel going to come off the floor as they'll bring Donovan Chapman back on the floor with 4 fouls here. Ziegel with a nice game, though, 10 points, 8 boards. Going to get a lecture from Howard Fisher for that early shot clock 3 on the transition play. Virgil Watson going to use one of his final 2 timeouts with 2:33 to go in a 10-point ball game. As Canyons leading LA Valley, it's been a tight one so far. Every time Canyons starts to drive away, LA Valley comes right back, and we're seeing that here with a 10-point game. Looking at the numbers so far for both sides. 25 of 61 for the Cougars, 41%, 7 of 18 from 3, 38.9%. So just below their season average from the field, just above their season average from 3. LA Valley 20 of 50, 40% from the floor, just 3 of 15 from 3, 13 of 20 from the line though. Trying to snap a streak of 2 straight games allowing 100 or more points, and a streak of 4 straight allowing 80 or more with 2:33 to go. They've done a better job today defensively, they just have not scored. Hamilton with 10, Blunt with 10. That's rough for LA Valley as those two guys, Hamilton averaged just 6.5, so you get a bump from Hamilton, but Blunt, who averages almost 13 and a half, has just struggled from the floor, just 2 rebounds as well. Canyons has done a nice job against him. Rondell Moore and Jordan Sumbry both with 9. Angulo on the bench with 8, and Klinkscales on the bench. Or was on the bench for the moment. We'll check back in with 8. Canyons, Orbach 19 and 6. Donovan Cornelius 16 and 7 with an assist. Ziegel 10 and 8 with 4 assists. And then you have Wilson and Perez each with 8. LA Valley trying to press here. Canyons was able to break it. Work it to Cornelius. Works into the painted area, tries to draw contact from Sumbry. Doesn't get a foul called, but gets a bucket nonetheless. Cornelius now with 18 points in the ball game. And a foul going to be called against Canyons. Goes against Webb. That's going to send Sumbry to the line. Cornelius, his season high was 22 against Orange Coast. Or off that. Sumbry today, trying to get into double figures for what would be the 5th time or 6th time this season. Misses on the first. It's not 1 and 1. Mark Hamilton thought it was. Got a bucket, but it's not going to count, so Sumbry will go back to the line. Next foul will put Canyons in the plus as well. Sumbry misses. Chapman the rebound, so empty free throw trip that time from Sumbry. LA Valley still in that full court press, trying to make something happen, trailing by 12 with 1:37 to go. Cornelius fouled from behind by Sumbry, and he'll go back to the line for his 4th trip today. 6 for 6 from the line so far. 2 free throws will go a long way here to press it back up to 14 with 1:28 to go. And the broadcaster jinx goes into effect. Lopez will replace Moore here. For Sumbry, he picks up his first foul. And Cornelius misses both. So just when you need 2 big free throws, you didn't get anything. Both sides empty on their last trips. Blunt, a reverse layup that's good. And the lead back down to 10. Webb will throw it ahead to Chapman. Chapman trying to stay out of some trouble here. Sends it to Orbach. Thought about a pass to Wilson, but instead got it to Webb. Now Webb looking back for Wilson. It bounces off him. Or excuse me, Wilson looking back for Webb. Webb wasn't ready. It bounced off him, came around, and now Blunt going to finish on the other side. That was just an awkward play. LA Valley going to use their final timeout with 53.2. It's an 8-point game. Monarchs want to talk things over now that they're back within single digits. Canyons, this game trending as a game that they would potentially win. Cornelius, 5 of 9, 2 of 4, and 6 of 8 with 18 points. Orbach, 9 of 14 with 19 points. Cornelius this year, we were talking about him, 62% in wins from the field. He shoots 71% from 3 in wins, so he's near those numbers today. He's well over his 15 points in Canyons wins. For Orbach, it's kind of a trend in the other way, where Canyons usually doesn't do well when Orbach puts up points, but today with 19 points, 2 assists for him, Canyons in control. But the lead is just 8. 53.2 to go. Those last two foul shots from Donovan Cornelius, who's been spectacular at the line up until then, was 6 for 6. Really becoming ever more important here, as Canyons has just been to the line 13 times today. Compare that to 22 for LA Valley, who's made 13 of 22. Closing moments here from Lee Smelser court. Canyons nearly throws it away on an inbound, and they do. LA Valley right back to work. And a foul, no shot, will send Hamilton to the line for 2 shots. Howard Fisher not happy with the officiating staff because he wanted the ball on the far side of the floor, and the officials inbounded it off the, or on the near side of the floor to us, the far side of the floor from the bench, and the officials inbounded it from nearest to LA Valley's bench, and that's what Howard Fisher is saying has created the turnover. Nonetheless, a foul on Canyons. LA Valley out of timeouts, so with 47.6 in a 7-point game, they will have to try and stop the clock with fouls as much as they can. 1 of 2, no good, but Blunt gets the rebound, trying to draw contact, didn't get it, but got the bucket. And it's a 5-point game. They stay in a full court press here. Wilson throws it away, a turnover on Canyons. 37.8, 68-63, the lead is 5. I don't think Howard Fisher, who has 5 timeouts, will use anything here, as he doesn't want to give LA Valley a chance to talk things over. As they go back to work offensively. Sumbry trying to get it to a 1-possession game. Had it knocked away for a second, picked it back up, put it in. And then a foul going to be called on, or delay of game. I'm not sure what the call was on the floor. I'm not going to speculate, but it's a 3-point game. 68-65, 31.7. So the shot clock is not off. And now we'll have a full timeout to talk things over. Canyons with 4 timeouts in the ball game still. They led by 19 at one point here in the second half, but LA Valley has continued to stay with it and chip away at points. Canyons, if you get back within single digits, Canyons would push it back up to 15. LA Valley would get it back within single digits. The Cougars would push it back up to 15. It's kind of been one of those days. And now LA Valley with a late flurry working off that full court pressure, creating another turnover, the 14th of the ball game on Canyons. 4th straight game with Canyons at 14 turnovers or more. 7th in their last 8. Canyons in 1-possession games this year, 0-2. LA Valley 1-1 in 1-possession games. We get here late in this ball game, and what is now a 1-possession game. Canyons couldn't get it in play. They say it went out off of Blunt. Howard Fisher wants to talk about a timeout as the ball be inbounded, and Canyons will not get the baseline that time. As they won't be able to run this time, as it was knocked out by Blunt. So 68-65. Canyons will get it in. Webb spinning away, dumps it. Perez driving and is fouled. Foul goes against Mark Hamilton, so Perez will go to the line. Perez this season a 77% foul shooter. Sits at 77.2, so he and Cornelius are the two guys you want at the line. And stretch it back to a two-possession game. When you look at the numbers in those styles of games this year, Canyons 2-4, LA Valley 4-2. 2 shots for Perez. Gets the first one to fall. A little dramatic. So it's back to a 4-point game. Perez now with 9 points in the ball game. It's just his first trip to the line today. Second is good. Donovan Chapman scratched that. We'll check back in. Cornelius is on the floor still. 5-point lead, 25.8. LA Valley needs to go fast. They don't have any fouls to give. Canyons will just let them run into a half-court offense here. Blunt trying to drive. Gets a bucket, but that wasted 10 seconds off the clock. LA Valley needs to foul. Canyons gets it to Orbach. No foul called. Now they get it to Cornelius ahead, and he's finally fouled. After 5 seconds goes off the clock, and Cornelius will go back to the line to try and make it once again a 5-point game. That just took too long for LA Valley up the floor. Blunt kind of in isolation, working himself. And Canyons was just content to, we'll just let you work. You waste as much time as you want. We've got a 5-point lead. Cornelius a chance to try and make it a 5-point lead once again, and misses the first one short. The second one makes it a 2-possession game if he can knock it down. And he makes 1 of 2, so you'll take it down the stretch. It's a 4-point game. For Canyons, don't foul, don't do anything crazy here. They just tie the ball up, and they're going to take the win, their second conference win, their 6th on the season. Now 6 games below 500, but 500 on the conference year. They get to 2-2. LA Valley falls to 0-3, a 71-67 Canyons win. We thank you for joining us here on the Cougar Sports Network as always. We hope to see you next week on Saturday for baseball, our baseball home opener against Saddleback. We hope you join us for that one. Have a good night, everybody. We hope you have a great rest of your weekend and enjoy the Martin Luther King holiday.